Hey all, it's Starzy, and today I am going to be doing my September wrap-up. I am in a witchy gothic Lolita co-ord because it's the 1st of October. Moving on. I think this is also going to be the first wrap-up this year that I haven't filmed in front of my bookshelves, but I don't really feel like having a lamp pointed at my face right now, so we're in front of a window since it is during the day. All that being said, September. I read a total of 3 books in September because, to be completely honest, what I've been spending majority of my time doing is playing video games, both alone and with my friends a lot actually recently. So I'm considering making a video on like the video games I've been playing recently if anyone's interested in that. But yeah, I completed a total of 3 books. It was going to be 2 books and I rushed one in yesterday. And yeah, but I did watch some movies and stuff too, so we can go over everything today. Alright, so let's just get into the 3 books that I read in September that were pretty much all like sequels of different things. So the first thing that I listened to in September was Charmcaster by Sebastian de Castell, which is I think the 3rd book in, I have no idea what the series is called. The first one is called Spellslinger, and it's a fantasy series where you're following this boy who comes from like this kind of magician society where they all do magic, but like he kind of tricks his way through things because he isn't as naturally gifted as the rest of his family, and now he's off going on adventures with like this interesting kind of southern accented woman and a squirrel cat who is very violent. So this was a good time, although I listened to it while I was playing The Sims 4 because I just bought The Sims 4, so I don't know how much attention I was paying the whole way through, so I don't think I like rated it or anything, but like from what I was paying attention to, it was like enjoyable, but I haven't really enjoyed any of the books as much as I did like the first one, I feel. And I don't know whether that was also just kind of the novelty of these audiobooks and because the narrator I've mentioned before does all the different voices, and it's, you know, they're really good audiobooks in that way. But that was the thing I listened to. I do plan to continue the series, especially probably the audiobooks, because they are fun, even if they are something I have on in the background when I'm getting distracted. The second thing I listened to was Come Tumbling Down by Showman, which is the 5th book in the Wayward Children series. Finally got to listen to it. I listened to the first 4 the month before and really enjoyed them, and I also really enjoyed this one. Because the thing with this one was we were back in like my favourite place, the land that has all the classic horror vibes. So honestly, it could have just been the characters there watching paint dry and I probably would have still been intrigued because there's something about the spooky world that appeals to me. So yeah, so it was, some of the Wayward Children books you could kind of read as standalones, but this is one of the ones that really did kind of carry on from some of the previous books. Again, it was returning to a world we've been before and things like that, and following characters that have been in previous books. Yeah, so I did enjoy that, and there were some dark things that happened. 5th book in a series though. And then the thing I finished reading yesterday was The Deathless Divide by Justina Island, which is the 2nd book. 1st book was Dread Nation, which is an alternative historical YA, which has zombies. So we're in like America in the time period like just after the Civil War, but during the Civil War, like dead soldiers started rising up as zombies. So now there are zombies, and so obviously that's a big threat as well. I think I gave the Wayward Children series book 5 stars because I did, and I think I gave this 4 stars. I wasn't like as invested in it as the 1st book, I feel, but I don't know whether that's also because I just wasn't really feeling like reading last month. I was like, no, give me the games. It followed on from the events of the previous book. Zombies, racial issues, interesting characters. Our like bisexual lead actually had a relationship with a woman in this one. I don't know, it was still a good time. I really like zombie media, even though I feel like I hated zombies when I was younger. that extra spooky vibes to the historical, so we don't really appreciate that here. Oh boy. So yeah, they're the only three things I read, and then this month, this is the only thing I'm planning on reading because there's lots of other stuff going on, and I'm also vlogging, so like, you'll see that. This is basically my TBR for October, which I have tried to read. I tried to read it a couple of times as a teenager, so like over 10 years ago now, and never got through it. I think the format's one of the things that turned me off with like the diary entries and letters and stuff. But we're gonna see how we go. I'm gonna try and get through it this month. That's a TBR. In terms of TV, I think the only thing we've particularly watched is we started watching Supernatural again, which I think I'm on like season 11 or 12. Why did this show go on so long? Like, it's not good. It's just not good. Like, that's... Like, there was an episode I watched that was like necromancer Nazis trying to resurrect Hitler, and it was just such a stupid episode. Anyway, I've committed to it. Like, I want to finish it though, because I stopped watching it so many years ago. Like, I just want to finish the damn series at this point. So yeah, I'm watching that. I did watch a bunch of movies, so let's go into my Letterboxd. This wig really needs some TLC. I think I watched 9 movies. So, the first thing we watched in September was Maggie, which is a zombie movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I don't know what the actress's name. I think she was in Zombieland. But it's kind of a different look at a zombie movie because it's really just following, it's really just more of an emotional journey of following Arnold Schwarzenegger as the father figure and his daughter who has been bitten, and so kind of showing that descent into when she is going to eventually be like completely turned. So it's a bit of an emotional one in that way. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Like, I don't know whether that is necessarily entirely my thing, but like, it was relatively well done. I don't know. Then we watched Paradise Hills, which is like a dystopian thriller. It's a beautiful movie. First off, I will say it is a visually beautiful movie. And I really liked the concept behind it because it's like, this girl wakes up on this like island where they're training the girls to be like proper members of society, or kind of, because they're all there for different reasons. Like, she's there because she doesn't want to marry the man everyone wants her to marry. Another person's there because she's got anxiety and like really bad anxiety, so she can't like return to society until she can deal with that. Another character's, you know, overweight, and so everyone's like, you can't be like this, even though she's fine being the way she is. Yeah, I don't know. Like, really interesting concept, really beautiful. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Like, I enjoyed it, but like, it wasn't always the most well done. I don't know. I watched it so early in the month too, like I don't know. Real pretty though, real pretty. Oh, then I finally watched the most recent Star Wars movie, which was called The Rise of Skywalker, and I don't know how I feel. Like, I will say I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. Like, it was watchable, but there were lots of things that, yeah, I don't know how I feel. Like, for instance, the one thing I said as soon as the credits rolled was, why did she put the lightsabers there? Because only one of them had any connection to that place, and even that connection, like, that's also where his family were, like, slaughtered, right? Like, it was a strange decision. Strange decision. And also, like, I never liked how they did all that stuff with, like, Kylo and Rey, and I hate Kylo. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I didn't rate it, but I've seen it. I also finally watched Hamilton, the musical. I will say it's not like one of my favourite musicals. It was okay. That might be a bit of an unpopular opinion. It was okay. My favourite song also was friggin' probably the King's song. So, look, I've watched it, and apparently I'm going to be seeing it live next year, and I didn't get a choice in the matter. My little sibling called me and was like, hey, we're getting Hamilton tickets. I'm like, oh, okay, does that mean, like, are you calling me to ask if I want to go see it? And they're like, no, that's not even an option, like, oh, okay. So apparently I'm going to a different city and state next year, and I didn't get a choice in the matter to go see Hamilton. Like, I'm not complaining, but that's what happened. Then we watched The Greatest Showman, which this movie was like so much fun. So much fun. My only problem with this movie is I'm not sure like the glorification of freak shows is necessarily great. Because like it's so romanticized and given their history, but like such an enjoyable movie and the music is so great. It was really funny though because like the first 10 minutes of the movie my boyfriend was just complaining about how much singing there was, and then at the very end of the movie he was like, yeah, that was a solid 7 out of 10. It's like you spent the first 10 minutes complaining but you ended up like really enjoying it. He's like, yeah, I got used to the singing. It's a musical, what do you expect? Anyway, then we watched The Babysitter Killer Queen, which was disappointing. Like, it was kind of watchable, so I gave it 2 out of 5, but like, it was so stupid. And like, you can do silly and over the top, or even like so bad it's good horror, like all of those kind of things work, but this was just stupid. And like, it's so disappointing because the first movie I watched for the first time in October last year, and I enjoyed that so much. And so to watch this and just be like, why? It was just stupid, it's disappointing, do not recommend it. But the first one is a good time, and I'm actually going to be doing a watch along of The Babysitter Pacific time 16th at 9 PM I think, which for me is a Saturday afternoon. So that's with spooky movies as part of Spooktober, the readathon. So like if anyone wants to, you know, watch The Babysitter at the same time as me and we can all like chat about it and share our thoughts, that's the thing that's happening, you know, mid-month-ish. But yeah, Killer Queen. Then we watched Enola Holmes, which I actually enjoyed this so much. Like, I wasn't expecting to. It's not something that I would have ever picked to watch, but my boyfriend put it on and I was like, okay. And I ended up giving 4 out of 5 stars because I just really enjoyed it and it was kind of just wholesome and fun. The other thing is, most of the criticism I've seen of this movie is like critiques in terms of people not thinking it's a good representation of Sherlock Holmes. But the thing is I know nothing about Sherlock Holmes. I've never read the books. I've never watched any TV or movies to do with Sherlock. Like, I know nothing outside of knowing he, like, investigates crimes. So, coming from the perspective of someone who knows nothing about any of that, I really enjoyed this movie. So, you know. Then we watched Watchmen, which is, who knows what number rewatch for me now. I've watched it quite a number of times over the years, but it was the first time my boyfriend had ever seen it, so that's why we watched it. And I do really enjoy the Watchmen. Like, there is like uncomfortable stuff in the Watchmen, but at the same time that's often kind of the point. So I do enjoy Watchmen. And you know, if you like kind of that darker, grittier look at superheroes, that's really what Watchmen is. The thing is though, is that the first time I saw Watchmen was in cinemas when I was maybe like 16-ish? 16? I don't remember exactly, but I definitely saw it in cinemas as a teenager. And I was like an awkward child, basically, still. It was a bit much. I remember walking out of the cinemas and being like, I really didn't like that. I was so uncomfortable. Like, there's nudity, sex scenes, graphic violence, full frontal blue penis. Like, it was a lot for me as a teenager, but since then I do enjoy watching it now. I don't know why I felt the need to share that. And then the last thing that I watched yesterday, which I think it's the only Marvel movie at this point that I hadn't seen yet, which, like, obviously the fact that it took me this long to watch it is frustrating. But SpiderMan Far From Home, which is the most recent Spider-Man movie that was released last year, so I think I'm now completely up to date. Not with, like, the TV shows, like, that's a realm I haven't really wandered much into, but, in terms of, like, the MCU movies, I think I've watched all of them now. I didn't really like this movie, though. I gave it 3 out of 5. I don't know, a lot of it just felt silly to me. I don't know. yeah, it was okay. I don't actually know anything about people's thoughts on Spider-Man. I know a lot of people loved the first one, but I don't really know what anyone thought about this one. But yeah, I thought it was okay. They're basically my thoughts, although the one thing it has highlighted is I really need to get back to my MCU rewatch. What am I up to, Thor? I only did 3 of them last year. Still so many movies to watch. But yeah, I'm up to Thor, so if I watch Thor anytime, at some point I need to watch Thor and continue that and continue making those videos. Thor's also like my favourite Avenger of the MCU, so like the fact that I haven't continued is doubly frustrating. Yeah, that's all the books I read and all the movies I watched. And I don't think there's any other TV I've watched last month that I can remember. I think that's it. So yeah, that's everything I read and watched in September. As I said, really the thing that took up majority of my time in September was video games. So let me know if you want to know more about that. I might make a video on it anyway, even if no one expresses interest, just because it's my life and I'll do what I want to. Let me know what you think of any of the things I might have read or watched this month, or let me know what are some of your favourite things that you read or watched in September. It is now October and I've got lots of things planned, including, yeah, Spooktober, readathon, join us. The movie night calendar is also up now on Spooky Movies, so come watch movies with us. And yeah, I think that's it. Video games! Anyway, I'm probably actually going to get out of this now because I've been in this full Alita get up for hours and I'm getting a bit warm. Yeah, stay safe. Starzy out.